Hello there, welcome to a new month. So after everything, January finally said goodbye. A lot of us thought it would never go away, but it's here, February, and I'm excited because it's the month of love. You're watching Joy News Interactive live on Multi-TV, DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 144, on Facebook and Twitter. We are Joy News on TV. We are coming to you live from digital address GA009-0993341. There's a lot of stuff to discuss today. We've got something happening in Zimbabwe, yes, because of their president's interview with Richard Quest. And also we've got a lot of things happening right here home in Ghana. Let's start from home, okay? And it's some good news today. Ghana has been ranked the first country in Africa and 43rd in the world with strict adherence to the rule of law. The 2017 World Justice Project Global Rule of Law ranking showed the country has witnessed an improvement in its governance the past year. Now, a lot of you have been sharing with us what you make of this. Let's head to Facebook right away. Dan Anaxi says, we are not surprised at all. Rule of law is Nanado and Nanado is rule of law. He stands for democracy, human rights and freedom in development. There are two replies to that. Let's see what others think of Dan's comment. He says, look at you, always politics. Opunia Sama says, this project was done throughout 2017. So if we should go the political way, then the credit goes to Mahama and not Nanado. How? But President Akufo-Addo was sworn in 2017, so I'm not sure what Opuni is trying to say here. Walanyo Akwetia says, good, with Nanado all things are possible. I'm very excited to hear that, my dear sister. Thank you. Ghana Bakwesi said, when it comes to Africa, Ghana has a long positive impact, which we need to be proud of. More room for improvement, yes. First in Africa, but 43rd in the world. We can do better, can't we, in terms of our world rankings? But Smart NX says, yes, we respect the rule of law, but that's not enough to make us complacent. Our leaders should stop the avarice, up their competence, and help make our country a better place. Martin says, funny how people see everything political. When it comes to rule of law, the politicians disregard it the most, he thinks. Says we should congratulate our independent justice system. Martin there. Simon says there's still more room for improvement because there are myriads of constitutional lawlessness every now and then. Anyway, elsewhere in Kenya, the issue is worse, and that shouldn't be a standard. Well, we all know what's happening in Kenya. Raila Odinga says he's also the people's president. I'm sure that's what he's trying to allude to. Solomon says, which mechanism did they use to arrive at that conclusion? The last time I checked, vigilantism took and is taking center stage in our democracy, while our law and order is so relaxed by our law enforcement agencies. I hereby doubt the authenticity of the report, all right? Citizen Atu laughs and says, when PRC is yet to take inputs from other bodies, yes, it's been declared that we will have a reduction. Okay, says, well, after all, January has ended, but I don't know how PRC and rule of law come to play here. Anyway, thanks for your comment. Dambaba says, which rule of law are they talking about? Those who did the survey, he thinks, were bribed. Okay, I don't know why he thinks that, Dambaba. If you have any evidence, why not? You can show it. We'll be glad to share it with the rest of the world. Jane Miyama says, everything good is Nanado, everything bad, okay, is, well, he refers to the former president. Deron says, in an era where political thugs can invade a court and free criminals, he's asking, in a regime where businessmen allegedly pay $10,000 to sit close to the president, in a period where party fanatics can raid a police station and set their people free, well, okay. In an administration where non-political people are forced to resign because they served under a previous regime, says, oh, then Ghana is really blessed. Geoffrey says, rule of law in Ghana, which of the laws? Says, God have mercy. And then George Frimpong says, well, let's also reduce corruption. Well, if you're doing well in rule of law, that's okay, but he thinks that we should tackle corruption. And Emmanuel says, because our police seem to have been trained without principles, additionally, they're poorly equipped. Billy says, good news. We hope to hear more of such news. Definitely, we hope to hear more of such news. So away from Ghana, there's this video that's going around, and it's an interview with Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa and the CNN's Richard Quest. Now, among other things, President Mnangagwa told Quest point blank that he would not be campaigning for gay rights as they are, forbidden by the current constitution in Zimbabwe. Now, in case you haven't seen it, here you go.
This is the new constitution. In the past, we had no limit terms of leadership in the country. But the current constitution, which came into effect on the 22nd of May, 2013, gives limits. Maximum is 2 terms for any president, and I'll abide by that.
So let's not count this term. Let's say you stand for election. Let's say you've got another term. You could be president for the next, what, 5, 10 years?
It's only 10 years. The first term will be 5 years. Then another term is for 5 years. If I win the elections, that's the basis of how one becomes leader.
And you've already pledged to allow independent monitors from the African Union, from the European Union, and from others to come and monitor the elections.
Absolutely. I have said that this time around, we are going to have fair, free, and credible elections. And to do so, you must open the space for people to come and observe. That is our region, the continent, the EU, and other member states of the United Nations who apply to come and observe our...
I know you're busy with time, and I have a couple of areas I just need to dwell on. On the question of human rights, on the question, for example, of same-sex rights, never mind same-sex marriage or anything like that that might be in the future, for want of a better word, gay rights, the overturning of laws against homosexuality. Can you promise me today that you will do that?
I'm a constitutionalist. The current provision in the Constitution forbids same-sex marriages and uphold that until that issue in our country is not an issue of the political party.
Not same-sex marriage. I'm talking about same-sex relationships. Never mind, we can put marriage to such. I'm talking about same sexual activity.
In our current constitution, it is banned.
Are you going to lead a campaign?
No, I will not lead a campaign.
Why not?
Those people who want that are the people who must canvass for such things, so that if they're able to win majority in amending the constitution, they would amend it. But it's not my duty on that issue to say I want to campaign for this. No.
Of course it is your, with respect, Mr. President, of course it's your duty. It's your duty to uphold human rights as recognized by the United Nations and as recognized by the countries.
It's my duty to obey my constitution.
Correct.
I would not be persuaded to violate my constitution. Currently, my constitution says what I have said. But the constitution does not forbid people with different opinions. They must canvass with the opinions which they have.
So I'm asking for your opinion, both as a man and as president. Are you in favor of changing the constitution on that issue?
No, I am not. It's never a priority in Zimbabwe to deal with that issue. During 2013, when everybody was able to canvass, those who canvassed for that position lost. We go by the majority view of our people. And currently, the majority view is what I am stating.
So you keep Zimbabwe in a different age. Never mind same-sex marriage, but in an age when the European Union, the United States, Australia recently enacted same-sex marriage, and pretty much your country is in a very small minority.
I don't think with my priorities today, I would grow my economy, right? Increase the standard of life of my people, putting that as a priority. Our priority now of my government is to embrace the international community and say Zimbabwe is open for business. Let people who want to invest in Zimbabwe say this is what they want, these are the constraints they see, and this is what I believe is necessary for us to grow, to catch up with some of the developing countries in our world, in our region.
One more on this. I venture to disagree with you, Mr. President.
That's democratic.
Surely, by changing, whether it's on women's rights, gay rights, whatever rights it is, human rights, surely by changing those, you really send the true message that you're not just interested in money coming in for dollars for business, but creating an equal environment for all. Surely that's a much more powerful message than just asking for a bit of extra foreign direct investment.
It's not a question of having dollars in Zimbabwe. It's a question of development. We must have functional railway systems in my country. We must have functional infrastructure in terms of highways and so on. We must have functional manufacturing sector in the country. I must modernize and mechanize my agriculture in Zimbabwe. I must have a developed mining sector in Zimbabwe. These are the things, as far as I'm concerned, are the issues which my people look at for government to address and facilitate for their development so that we catch up with members of the region.
Interesting, isn't it? Well, let's head to Zimbabwe now and talk to Richard Tiza. He's a senior political reporter with the New Day newspaper in Zimbabwe. Hello, Richard. How's Zimbabwe?
Zimbabwe is fine. It's fine. We're receiving a few rains now. It's been very hot, but we copy fine.
Great. Let's talk about this video that's gone quite viral on social media. A lot of reactions that I'll be bringing out soon from Facebook. But tell me, how are Zimbabweans reacting to this interview by Richard Quest and your president?
You see, Zimbabweans have been cautious about President Mnangagwa. They want to kind of give him time, although some sections of our society have been saying he needs to deliver, he needs to do more. And he has not been doing more in terms of action, except he's been saying the right thing. And unlike Mugabe before him, he has no negative rhetoric. Mugabe was fighting everyone, like I was saying to someone. Bob was fighting everybody, and Mnangagwa is not. He's trying to make sense. But as for the interview with Richard Quest, there are two things there that we've picked up. The president, in terms of Zimbabwe, they say he did well. In terms of all the interviews that we've conducted with him at Davos, he did quite well. But the problem with the Richard Quest is there is a feeling that he was pushing an agenda because of his sexual leanings.
And so tell me, for example, what do you hear people saying on the streets about this interview? Are they proud of the response, or they think that, for example, your president could have said more, done better?
I think there is a feeling that the president might have taken the advantage of the situation and probably just said sorry regarding the Gukurahundi issue in particular. That is a very emotive issue. And the Quest tried to push the president to at least say sorry, and he didn't. But regarding the gay issue, Zimbabweans really, the majority of our people care very little about that section of our society. There are people who are with sexual leanings towards homosexuality, but it is not an issue that touches on the emotions of our people on a daily basis.
Now, finally, before you go, Richard, do you have radio stations and TV stations, for example, discussing this? Is this topical in Zimbabwe now?
Not really. No, it's not. It's not being discussed. It's actually old news here.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right,
Thanks.
Richard Tiza is a senior political reporter with the New Day newspaper in Zimbabwe, telling us how Zimbabweans are reacting to this interview that's gone quite viral. Now, let me bring you some reactions on social media. Dorcas Gumbo, for example, she shared that Quest means business video and says Richard Quest is so annoying in this interview. Why can't he respect the decision of a sovereign nation instead of talking down on a country's, I'm sure, constitution, she's trying to say there. And Thabo says Richard Quest is a joke. He thinks this is pathetic journalism and says this same-sex agenda is the least of Mnangagwa's worries, all right? And Jason Manuel Morgan says, I hate the way this arrogant Richard Quest speaks to our president, and ask, who does he think he is? And you can find some of these comments by simply typing Richard Quest in your Facebook search column, and that's because he's trending all as a result of this particular interview. But we also put up the video on our page, and a lot of you have been reacting to it. Makwenya says, may God give him the strength to resist these evil being pushed on African leaders. His answers were perfect. Apia Kusi says, a military coup government changing to democratic process or election will be never free and fair. It happened in Ghana, Egypt, Equatorial Guinea. Okay, talking about his answer to that question on whether he has hopes of being president, he answered and said, well, he was going to allow the AU and other bodies monitor future elections. Alonio says, much respect, sir. We need development, not any, all right, issues like that. Bernard Kofi says, great man, and refers to president. I'm sure a lot of you will be making some comparisons because of our president's interview with an Al Jazeera journalist on the same issue. Okay, and Walanyo Akwetia says, ask and it shall be given unto you, seek you shall find. Good move, sir. Godfred Aqua thinks that this is strong and sharp, and says, strong and sharp guy. Victor says, they can't push you into accepting that diabolical behavior. Tell them, no homosexuality in Africa. We will decide for ourselves. All right, there you have it. But just in case you want to watch that video again, get onto our Facebook page on our name is Joy News, and you would find that video there. We'll take a quick breather here. When we come back, we'll be talking about the month of February and also about what one member of the House of Lords in the UK decided to do when he turned up late for work. Thanks so much for staying here on Joy News Interactive. Now, this may come as really bizarre to you, but a member of the House of Lords resigned after turning up late to answer questions. Lord Bates said he was, quote, thoroughly ashamed, end quote, of himself and apologized to the House, after which he resigned. But the Prime Minister has rejected his exit, describing it as unnecessary. A lot of you actually are trying to compare that to what may happen in Ghana. And Kojo Moses says, in Ghana, he will tell you, you are lucky I even came. Simon says, that's discipline, and the way to success is asking if you can get that here in Ghana. I remember some time ago, a video popped up on social media, and it had to do with a Nigerian minister asking those who had come to work late to kneel. Do you remember that video? Yeah, I mean, Gabriel Mensah says, that's why they are so brave to refer to us as whole, Walanyo Akwetia size. And ask if this can really happen in Africa, maybe in a different world, he says. That's what we call time conscious. All right, a few more of your comments on that one, and we'll move on quickly. Cecilia Kosia Brenas is actually tagging Justina Edubuati. He says, come and hear this Obroni and do same. Oh, does it mean you go late to work, Justina? Anyway, Jahad says that's the secret behind their development. Time consciousness. Alassane says, good of him. It's Africa, you see nothing wrong. Things that we should emulate. And Billy says not in Africa. Dixon says not on an African soil. A lot of people saying this can't happen in Africa. Well, hopefully we'll get to see that a lot. But I hope that all those of you commenting, you actually go to work early, you know. And before we go, welcome to the month of love. What are your expectations? I know January was quite hard on a lot of us, but hey, it's finally here, February. And a lot of you say, oh, Samson Asama says he's going to buy a kitchen stool. Really? Jaman says, my expectation is to meet someone who will take me out and propose to me after 2 years of broken heart. Oh, sorry. Martin says, to receive a surprise gift from a loved one. That's his expectation for the month. And Smart Enoch says, my expectation is that Chelsea sacks Conte to make room for a better coach. Oh, Charlie. Sorry. Rodrigo says, 2 big matches on the 14th, Chelsea versus Barca and Madrid versus PSG. That's what he's looking forward to. And Safo says, oh dear February, why have you kept so long? Then sighs, January, you've caused all this welcome for the love month. And James says, I'm blessed to have my girlfriend born in February. Okay. Agana Valentina, I am Siga, more love. Billy says, God should open my eyes to see the fake lovers. And Mauli Mensa says, I'm expecting God to fill my mouth with laughter. Nesta says, expensive month for expenses. Laughs at his own comment. And Kelly is looking forward to buying Bay a Mazda MX-5. Kweku Mieza is saying, I just met her and wish she wouldn't demand a lot from me. Oh, don't be scared. We are all not like that. Gideon says to achieve more in life. And Mill says, oh no, right. Dominic Kawini, I'm not going to read that, Mills. Says, laugh from my wife. And Rhoda says, let love lead. Walanyo says, God to bless our homeland, Ghana, safeguard our president, our vice, our ministers from sickness, death, and accident, as well as the multimedia fraternity. Thank you so much, Walanyo. This is your prayer for us for this month of February, and we really, really appreciate. Hopefully, February will not treat us like January did. Fingers crossed. Thank you so much for joining me for this edition of Joy News Interactive. As always, we stay interactive on Facebook and Twitter. Our name is Joy News on TV. You can follow me on Twitter by finding me with the name Dennis_AB. Dennis Abubedi will find me on Facebook. I leave you with our video of the day. Just look at what people do for money. I'll be back at 12 with the news. Take care.